All right, welcome back, third graders. When I left you last, you were practicing some of your pairs of parallel lines, pairs of parallel intersecting lines. Where they cross, that's where they intersect. Um, Today, we're going to take a look at some of the designs you can put in there. So, um, you know, the design for your artwork, it should be something that is interesting to you, maybe something that shows your personality, or just something that, you feel is creative or fun. The trick is today we're going to talk about using negative space and also having contrast in your artwork. So I'm going to show you a page of designs, and I'm also going to link this page to your um, lesson, so that way you can pull this up and use it throughout the time. But these are just some examples. So I don't want you to think these are the only types of drawings you can do, but these are just some examples of designs that use both negative space and contrast. So an example of negative space is here. You see the heart. The heart shape here is actually drawn in just the negative space of this line pattern that is behind it. Same thing with the drips that are dripping down here. These are drawn only because there is negative space that they're in. You could have flip flopped and you could have colored in the drips and left the back white, but in this place the drip is the negative space. And the contrast, as you see, is the dark and the light. That gives you like a strong contrast. And so you don't want to have a drawing that's all just bland or white. You want to try to mix it up. Here you can see like a checkerboard pattern where they changed the pattern as they went through. So lots of great ideas. These are taken from students from over the years that have just, are creative and fun. And so I'll kind of walk you through a couple here just to practice. Let's try the heart design. So in the heart design, let's see, maybe this one here, you would actually draw out the heart, and then you would choose to make a background. Now this one, they chose to do a line background, so I could definitely do a line pattern background too, or I could choose maybe a different background. Maybe I want to start here and just loop and draw the edges of the heart behind it, making it larger and larger each time. You say, well, what happens when you hit the edge, Mr. A? Well, you just skip and you pretend like it just keeps going down. I don't know how this is going to turn out. You never really know with art. See, once I get in the corner here, I'm just going to kind of draw all these edges. Just keep kind of coming back to that same point here. Well, this might turn out okay. I might decide I don't like it, and then I get to do something else. That's what's great about doing a rough draft first. Even though I don't really feel like there are any mistakes in art, definitely you can always improve your art and change your art, and do different things to it. So there you go. That was the heart design. Let's see, if I wanted to do the drips, I could definitely, you're just kind of drawing little drips dripping down, kind of like in a cavern if you had stalactites and stalagmites. Really neat, actually, the idea that liquid calcium from seashells actually drips into these tunnels. I think I'm going to do more like stalactites and stalagmites and do some equal drips on the bottom. But this calcium, it drips down, and no one touches it, and so for thousands of years it builds up and forms basically like little shell rocks. It's pretty cool. A little drip there. So now the idea was I was going to use negative space. So I made mine a little large. So my negative space here, I could try to draw lines in there. It would be like this, drawing like little lines to fill up the negative space. A lot of times you have to be real careful of trying to make your lines match up, but in this case it's going to be a little hard to do that. Do the best I can because there's such small little areas here. But you can see it's kind of starting to take shape, even though I'm just using a pencil to do this. it still does make quite a difference to, fill in the background and just allow the design to be that white negative space that's not filled in. We're so accustomed to just coloring it in, fill in the picture. But sometimes it's more interesting to not fill in the picture. Fill in something else instead. Fill in the background. And let the picture just come to life. Almost there. I'm going to speed this up and do it real quickly here. Alright, so you get the idea. Again, this is just a rough draft. And again, take something personal to you. So maybe you love football, just make a bunch of footballs. That's cool. These are not the best footballs. But you get the idea. It doesn't have to be perfect. Maybe you're like, I don't want to make any more footballs. Okay, well just take your ruler and just... There you go, done with that football section. And then maybe in the background here, I'll do some polka dots. I don't necessarily suggest this technique for everything, but just because it can tend to get a little messy, but it'll probably work here. There we go. It's something. So come up with your own unique designs. It can just be a line across the page, and you just trace over that line and keep tracing it, and then maybe you color maybe M's for Mr. A or for Matt, my first name. And then maybe you color in, every other one. Again, I'm doing this kind of quickly, but remember too, this is a rough draft. So the idea here is just to kind of experiment and see what you like. Alright, so I hope you got some good examples. Again, I will link this page here so that you can have access to that while you're trying out your own designs. Alright, talk to you tomorrow, guys.